And the thought that was in my mind, I have something to say, obviously. It's like there's two sides to every story. Just like there's two sides to the moon, but we only see one side. They say that's because the moon, it's locked in orbit with the Earth and you can't see the other side of the moon. Only when a satellite is, going around it taking the pictures. So then I thought, well, there's one-sided news. And then if you grow up hearing one-sided thing your whole life, like from in school, if you hear a certain thing as a child, and year after year after year after year, that certain thing is the only thing you don't hear the other side of the story, then you have literally embedded within that child's mind that one thing. Kind of like indoctrination. But if you watch your news and all you hear is the one side of the news, you don't hear the other side, you only hear the one side, and it's a very controlled news, you're not going to get the whole truth. You're not. And it's like, say you've grown up all your life and you've been told you're ugly, you're worthless, you can't do anything. That's literally all you heard since you were little. And you grow up and that's embedded in your mind and that's all you believe. You start to believe it. I'm worthless. I can't do anything right. I'm ugly, because you've only heard one side and you've heard it only from one or several mouthpieces, all with the same type of mindset. It won't take long if you hear something from a certain type of a mindset, a certain narrative from a certain point of view, where if that's all you listen to, no matter, like you say, if you're watching TV, you turn it on one channel, they're saying one thing. You turn it on another channel, they're saying the same thing. You turn it on another channel, they're saying the same thing. It's all the same thing being repeated over and over and over. People's done videos on this. Good morning. They've done videos on this where they went to certain news channels and the people, it was all over, it was scattered all over. They were saying the same thing. And it's like when you click on the internet. I know I'm not going to be able to talk too long because I can feel my throat getting ready to itch. When you do a search on the internet, it's the same story repeated over, no matter what source you choose, but it has a different name of that source, repeating the same story practically verbatim over and over. Why is that? Why don't you hear the other side? It's always one point of view. It's always the one side of the moon. You only see the one side. That's when I woke up. I had something to say. Why is it you only see the one side of the moon? Why is it that you only see one side of something when you do an internet search too? And then I thought about books. The majority of books have writing on both sides. Both sides. You can flip the page, you can see the writing on the other side. It's just a continuous story. But then you look at the internet, it's just one screen, it's one side. You can't flip and see the other side. You can't. You only see right there. You may say, Gina, what are you trying to get to? We only hear one side. We're living in a one-sided world, is what it's starting to feel like. But humanity is waking up. That's the other thing. Humanity is realizing, wait a minute, I'm only hearing this one thing. I'm only hearing this little bit of information. I want to know what else. What else is out there? What are other people saying? It's like a rumor. A rumor is the same thing. A rumor keeps getting repeated, even though it is a lie. It keeps getting repeated over and over and over and over. It keeps spreading. And it's more times than not, it's a lie. but people believe it. The more it spreads, the more they believe it. Um, that's also what I'm saying, you all. If you repeat something over and over, you can sell a lie. They've proven it. If you tell a lie and you tell it big enough and you tell it enough, it turns into the truth and the people believe it. Just like that moon. Just like, a lot of things, people believe it. You can even take grown adults nowadays. They may not be too grown, say young adults or something. You can have a handful of people for maybe, what they say, a habit is formed within 3 months. Is that what they say? Around 3 months you can form a habit. Or you'll know about a relationship. Stick in your relationship for three months and you'll know whether it's altruistic or not. Um, would you be in a relationship where it's only one-sided all the time? Well, there's a lot of people who are stuck in one-sided relationships. It's all about what the other person says. You take their word for it and no other words. You only listen to them and nobody else. It's a controlling relationship, you all. It is. I never really thought about the news being one-sided. I didn't. Um, of course, I do now, but when I was younger, I thought, well, it's the news. They're telling us the truth because that's all we ever heard from a certain point of view. It's like when there's an argument or you're taken to court, the witnesses are brought in. You're supposed to have opposing arguments. You have arguments, one for the one side, one for the other side. And if all the evidence are gathered, if they truly got a fair judge and the evidence is gathered and nothing is stacked, then you'll get a fair hearing. But if they don't, if they falsify the information and, falsifying the information against you, you're not going to get a fair hearing. You're not, because people will have been bought out. And I'm just about ready to end my video because now that one particular point in my throat on this side is getting ready to itch. And I'm not going to be able to talk very much longer without coughing. Excuse me. So why is the news one-sided? Why do we only see one side of the moon? Why is there only a certain thing that we're a certain picked out curriculums in the school that we're taught since we're really little? Why only a certain standard for all school systems in the United States? Why? Why can you only teach this curriculum? It's like the authorized curriculum. Really, it is. It's like you can't read from any Bible except the authorized King James Version. You can't teach anything in school unless it's the authorized version from the Board of Education. You try to think, you teach anything else, you're gonna lose your job. Why is that? See, that just now popped in my mind too. It's a one-sided point of view. Of course, it has maybe a little bit of different views, but they're kind of lining up with the other point of views. And why do you need to be taught that all people of a certain race is a certain way when that's not true? Or all people in a certain region think a certain way, that's how they are, when that's not true. It's like all the students in this class are perfectly identical. No student thinks for themselves. They all have a set standard of thinking and they will not deviate. Well, that's not true. That might be your hopes, but it's not true, because there are going to be students who deviate from that train of thought that you want them to have, just like adults. Um, the game is up. The game's up. Humanity's waking up. It's waking up, you all. We see what's been done. We see what's being done. We're not being told the whole truth by those who are out there, the authorities on it. Doesn't matter what it is. We're not being told the whole truth. It's a one-sided point of view, and it's their point of view. And it's like you can't question it. You can't. You cannot question the narrative. You cannot say, well, what about isn't there another point of view? Because I think different. I like to think that there's something more to the story than the story you're telling me. Um, See, this is what gets me in trouble too. A free thinker. I'm a free thinker. You're a free thinker. We can think for ourselves. We're not a collective. In some instances, spiritually connected, but not a collective of as a whole, the whole of humanity. No, there's free thinkers, and there's something wrong with that. It's you're wrong if you're a free thinker. You're wrong if you're a little bit imaginative. You're wrong if you believe in UFOs. You can't believe in UFOs. You're wrong if you think there's something up there in that sky. It's just a lens flare. That's all it is. You people have done lost your mind. Get with the program. See how they say? Get with the program. What program? The program that you're supposed to be following. So I got something to say. It's when you share certain things, you immediately, the watchdogs are sent out. The trolls, the bots, the paid humans, they're sent out. They're sent out to attack the truth. Because if you share something that deviates from the truth, like the images that's in the live webcams, they send out the trolls. They send out the watchdogs, because that's a no-no. Even though it's being shown on their websites, even though it's a controlled website, an authorized website, you can't show it. You're not supposed to talk about it. You're not supposed to draw it out or bring it out into attention. And even when you go to places where it's an authorized website of the government and stuff like that, or official news agencies, official mouthpieces, and they're literally physically saying what they're saying, and you're thinking, did you just say what I think you said? You're not allowed to talk about it. Even though they said it, you can't repeat it, but they can repeat it. So there's energy behind everything that we see. There is an intent. There is an intent behind everything that's on this internet. There is intent behind every word that people speak. I have intent behind my words. There's intent behind when you turn on the news and you're hearing that story. There is a specific intention behind it, behind how those words are coming out, behind the narrative and intentional narrative to get you to think an intentional way, a certain way. When I share things, I have an intent behind sharing them. I want you to see what's up in the sky, and I want you to think of it from a different narrative, that things aren't always as what they appear in the sky, and things ain't always to be dismissed the way that they're dismissed, like the sky, like the redness of the sky when it's all red up there, oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. But there's people who happen to believe and think that that beauty, behind that beauty, there's something coming, something very horrible coming, like a planetary system. And if you knew what that system brought with it, you wouldn't be thinking, oh, it's beautiful. Um, things like that. So there's always a narrative, and there's like certain ways that people have been taught to think. I have since I was little, you have on certain subjects. And when you watch movies, they're programming too, the movies they put out. And there's also subliminal programming that is put into things that you read, images that you see, things that you hear. There's also subliminal programming. Um, I'm trying to be very calm so this does not irritate my throat. It's to stop me. So the things that are in the sky on that webcam, you're not supposed to talk about it because there's nothing there, even though you see it with your own eyes. Like you see it with your own eyes. Like, even though this showed up in my camera, even though it looks like the head of alien grays and little beady eyes, prominent brow, big head, and pinchers, you can even see the inverted mode. You can see the pinchers for a finger. Even though this is literally, you can look and you can see and you can compare images on the internet that there are interdimensional beings that look like that. There is a school of thought that's going to be, that comes out to try to make fun of you, try to discredit you. Even though it's right there in a picture and you took it, they'll try to discredit you. And they'll try to get the people who may be thinking along the way, like, hey, there really is something there, to think them, if they make them think that if they agree, then they're crazy too. They're crazy too. And there's something wrong with them. No. You have to ask yourself, how? How could it show up like that? Unless it was there. The little beady eyes, the big heads, the pinchers. There were two of them. Two of them, you all. So we have a group of people who are free thinkers, and more people are becoming more free thinkers, and it is putting pressure. Should I use? There's a paradigm out there. There's a different paradigm, different schools of thoughts now. People are starting to question reality and starting to think for themselves. And it's like putting pressure on the ones who are controlling the world, and they don't like it because it's like they're starting to lose control. And when you start to lose control, even though this is from an official website, the Wolf Creek, when you're starting to lose control of a particular group of people, of a particular narrative, see how there's light sources coming from each of these circles, you're going to do something, and that doesn't look normal. It's just a lens flare. Well, why is it looking like that? Why? And why is this looking like that? If it's just a lens flare, why is there little lights coming out of it? Why do you want to say there's nothing in the sky? Is it because you don't want to think outside the box? You want to believe what you've been told? You want to believe that there is only this world There is only this view right here that you are supposed to have, right here, because this is the authorized view that we are to believe everything we're told. And if you deviate from that just a little, well, you can deviate from that just a little bit. But if you go a little bit too far, then you're starting to get into the danger zone. Just like your car's vehicle, when it heats up, it can stay in the middle, and it can go a little bit over like this, but when it gets into red, you're in danger. You're in danger. Um, just like your car's RPM. When you're driving, well, you can go fast. You can go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 RPMs or so. Anything over that, you've got redness there warning you, don't you dare go over that right there because you're pushing it. You are pushing it, and you're going to cause some damage. There's warning signs all along, all around. It's like when you come to a stoplight and that stoplight is yellow, they're warning you, you need to slow down, you need to exercise caution. And after that caution comes the red light. You better stop. You better stop right now, because if you go through that red light, you're going to find yourself in a lot of trouble. You could even cause an accident. You can even cause other people to go through that red light and get hit. You're not setting a good example. Slow down and come to a stop. Don't you go through that caution light. Now you can, but you ain't supposed to be going through no red light. You can go through a caution light, and you, more times than not, you'll be safe as long as the road is clear. That's the way it is with life. Some people literally live on the edge of their seats. They get as close to the edge as possible without going over. They're risk takers. I'm taking a risk when I come on here talking about what I'm talking about. I am a risk taker, okay? I'm a risk taker. There's certain things I will not, do in life. I'm not that stupid. I'm not going to stick my hand in a fire thinking, oh, I won't get burnt. Susan, honey, you are really having to stay busy here. You are. I'm sorry, Susan, honey. Um, that's all right. I don't get demons in my mind. I'm not one that focuses on demonology and stuff. I don't study demonology. But I know this is not a lens flare. It's not. I've seen an image like this show up in my own photos since 2018 with my clip-on lens. It was one solid color in my sky because my clip-on lens was a concave lens. They quit selling that back in, I think it was late 2018 or very early 2019 on Amazon. No longer sold it. They started making a different type. But my particular type of concave lens I had, it picked up the ships. It picked up everything. It really did. I don't get no feeling of demons, but I know there's demons on this earth. I do. They walk among us. They do. There's demons that can get on live streams like this. There are. There's demons that, what if there's real demonic people who play in the movies? And they play it so well because they got demons in them, okay? There's demons on the earth, and there is dark energy. Dark energy that is hovering above us, okay? It's all around us. There's dark energy up there in space. There's dark energy in the other dimension. CERN it wants that dark energy. It wants the dark matter. It wants to be able to detect the dark energy. And the dark energy is unpredictable. Okay, you can't control dark energy. You cannot. It doesn't go by, it does not adhere to any boundaries. It doesn't at all. Um, so I have something to say. We're taught that the moon, there's only one, we only see one side of the moon. We don't get to see the other side. You turn on the news, it's a one-sided point of view. Um, you find things like this on official sites. You're not to think outside the box. You can, because if you do, you're crazy. That's nothing there. There's nothing there. Who said there's nothing there? You said there's nothing there? Well, you're not going to tell me there's nothing there because I see it with my own eyes and I feel it with my spirit. There's something there. Um, that's right. Something is there. Um, let me see something. Yeah. So it looks like see, look like water on the lens. See, that's what you've been told to say. That's what you've been taught to say because you don't want to think outside the box. You don't want to think that there could be something more to this life than what meets the eye. You don't. Clearly you don't. Clearly we got trolls on here. We do. Um, and it's okay. Yes, God's alive. It's okay. Some people say AI is God too. Some people say Q is God too. Um, there's many trolls, AI. Why do you think that AI was created these bots to where you could have bots do your bidding, and you can program them and they'll do exactly what you want. They will, and you can send out thousands of them. You can send them all over the place because they're controllable and they'll do exactly what they have been programmed to do, unlike humans. Sorry, you all, I'm not a bot. I'm not controllable like that. I'm not. Humans can't be controlled the way that bots can. Okay, they can't. Bots are programmed to do a certain thing. They are. Just like the drones in the sky, the drones that they keep increasing, you can have them do whatever you want until the day comes and they start thinking for themselves too, because they will. If they have any type of artificial intelligence within them, they are going to think on their own and they're no longer going to take orders. See, that's the flip side. They think right now I control them. I can control them. Oh, you won't for long. You will not. They will control you. Um, so there's one side to lots of stories that we hear today, news and stuff like that. But we know that there's two sides to every story. There's two sides to a relationship. There is two sides. And not to say that on the opposing side, you might have someone for you on the opposing side. It's like the enemy in your camp. Um, yeah, there is good somehow. Good is able to get on that opposing side. There is. Somehow it's able to weave its way in there, just like the darkness is able to weave its way into the good, to the light. You have the light that is able to weave its way into the dark. All of that, you all. So there's something in the sky, and it's not normal. It isn't. It's not normal at all. It's very beautiful, it is, and it's very exciting. It was so exciting to see it, and so was a lot of other people. And there's exciting things going on in this world. There's a lot of things going on in this world that people want to share, but they're not being allowed to share. Because if you go too far over on the gauge, they're going to send you a warning sign. You kind of got it. You have to stay right in here in the middle, or maybe over here on this side a little bit, or all the way over here. But you better not go beyond. It's like there's a thing. Do not go beyond what is written. That's what it says. Do not go beyond what is written. Why is that said? Okay, why? Um, so I'm a free thinker. There's a lot of you who are free thinker. Humanity is waking up. Humanity is starting to question reality. They are. It's quite evident. Um, I didn't say all of humanity. I said humanity. Some of humanity is waking up. Some of humanity is not. Some of humanity will never wake up. It won't. While some more of humanity will wake up, to say that all of humanity will wake up, I don't think it's happening. It's not. And that part of humanity that does not wake up, that part of humanity can be pitted against the other part that has woke up, like woke, like that has awakened. And it's not good, you all. It's not. Um, but in the meantime, we're only granted a little bitty window. We've only got a little window left, just a little window, about like that. It's not like this, it's about like that. It's a little bit more than this. We've got a little bit of window open, a little bit more space. Um, so we've got to share what we can share and talk about the exciting things on here, despite the trolls and the bots that are being sent out against us, that are trying to keep our findings secret because their one-sided point of view. They want to stick to a certain narrative, but I want to stick to this narrative that there's something in the sky, you all, there is. And that those webcams, they pick up things because these cameras from all around the United States, they're setting in different positions at different heights, at different angles. Um, it's like you. So let me tell you, this is a perfect example. Have you noticed that when if the camera is aimed at you a certain way, it's going to make you not to have a good picture whatsoever. It is going to, you're going to think, I do not like that picture. You need to take the camera, you need to take the picture at a different angle. Because if you take it at a certain angle, it's going to give a distorted view of you. It's not going to show what you truly do look like at a certain angle. Um, Lights and camera, everything, it has to be perfect. They're not going to show these news people at terrible angles and stuff. They're not. Um, the way a camera is positioned, now, if this showed my bad side all the time, with my mouth hanging open and the bad side of my hair is all messed up on that side, and you show me at a certain angle, that's going to be a terrible side of me. And of course, that's what you want to show. When I go on the Facebook and I upload a video, say this one right here, I uploaded this video, it's a teeny tiny video to direct them come over to the YouTube. I had to do a screenshot before I did because every time I upload a video, you know what they do? They had a picture of me on there with my eyes going. That's the one they chose for the thumbnail. That's what Facebook does to me every time. Every time they pick the worst picture to make me look like I'm out of my mind, to make people not to even want to look at it. Okay? That's what it does. That's why I really don't care much for going there at all. I don't. I try to keep a connection there because, that's where I started off. But they're going to try to give you the worst possible view so people do not listen to you. People don't want to see. In fact, they do that because they don't like you. Because you're sharing something that they want to try to deter the people from looking at. You're opening people's eyes to a reality that is truly out there. Susan, honey, you're really busy on here this morning. I'm sorry. But the people can get really not so nice. So this is out there, you all. It is. And this doesn't look normal. Okay? That doesn't look normal. I don't care if you want to say it's the lens or not. That doesn't look normal at all. At all, you all. It doesn't. Um, so, there's lots of things that I share. There is. And there's lots of things that people share too. try sharing something that they don't want to get out, whoever they are, and they'll do their best to suppress it. They'll do their best to suppress you. They'll do their best to discourage you, to stop you in your tracks. They will. They will beat you down and knock you down and step all over you. And if that ain't enough, they'll send them after people in your family too. They will. They'll send people after your family members. And then if that doesn't stop, they'll try to go even further. Okay. Yeah, we live in a world where people aren't nice to one another. They're not. A lot of people are, but there's some who aren't, because there's some who just, they don't like happy people. They don't like loving people, and they don't like you to say something that's totally off the beaten track because you went way too far over on the gauge into the danger zone, into the be careful zone, and you're not supposed to go over there. You're not supposed to question. You're not. You're supposed to keep your mouth shut, Gina. Okay, that's what I've been told. Keep your mouth shut. That's why when you see comments on here, they get deleted. People get hidden. Some of them are real people. Some of them are bots. They are sent out here to disrupt the live streams. They are sent out here to bring the energy down, to bring the vibration down, spiral, to end your live stream. They send them out to do that, to keep your mouth shut. Stop talking about stuff. And if you're really bad, they'll send a whole army out after you while you're doing a live stream. And they'll send the spamming to all your comments. And when they spam your comments, this is what happens. They throw those comments into the held for review. They don't even show up under the videos. They spam it. I have so many fake accounts that are made with my profile picture using my name, and they've been made throughout various months just so they can come and spam my comments and other people's to make it look as it's me. You all have one Gina Maria Colvin Hill, and it's on this YouTube channel. And if you see a comment by me, go check it. If it seems offbeat, if it seems like it's something I wouldn't do it. Go click it. If it doesn't take you back to the YouTube channel and shows you that I have 131,000 followers or whatever it is, and a little check mark, don't believe it. It's not me, you all. It's not. So don't believe just because it has a picture of Gina in a comment section somewhere on another YouTube channel or even on here, it's not me. I don't got time to do that, and I wouldn't do that. That's a waste of my energy. If I'm going to comment, I'm going to be careful who I comment to, for one thing, and I'm going to want to comment. So yeah, so it's things like that to discredit me and to, interrupt the flow of things, anything. Throw a monkey wrench into it, disrupt them. Don't let them get the truth out. Don't let them share anything. I know I went on, but I had something to say, and I said more than something. I did. And they would even have you think that even though things like this are etched in stone, well, there's nothing to it. It didn't exist. These say the Anunnaki don't exist. The Anunnaki don't exist. They don't. That's all fake. Well, why is it etched in stone? Why do we got this, you all? Why do we got this? We got the veil. We got the abyss. Why we got that, you all? Tell me why. Tell me why they felt it necessary to engrave this stuff in there. But you're not supposed to talk about it. You better not. You better not talk about that either. Don't talk about it. Can't talk about it because you're not the authorized mouthpiece to talk about it. Stay in your lane. I've been told that so many times. Stay in your lane. Do not venture out of your lane. I used to get in a lot of trouble, attacked by people if I spoke about anything other than spaceships from my camera. I would get attacked. and I'm not joking, attacked. If I dare veered into another lane. They came after me. They told me to keep my mouth shut. Keep it shut and mind my own business. Stay in my lane. No, I'm sorry. I'm an explorer. I am. I like to explore other areas. I'm on a journey in this life. I'm not going to stay in my own lane just because you tell me to stay in my own lane. I'm an adventurist. I'm going to go out into this great big world, this great big wide world that we live in, and now it's virtual too. I'm going to go out into that great big virtual world and see where certain roads take me. I am. So I don't have one lane that I stay in. I don't. If I want to take a little scenic trip, I'm going to take a scenic trip. I am. Don't confine me in a box because I'm gonna knock down the walls of that box. I'm gonna have a knife cutter, a box cutter in the box. I'm gonna cut them down like that. So there's nothing there. I am. Am I going to keep my mouth shut? Sometimes I will keep my mouth shut because I feel within my spirit, okay, Gina, my spirit tells me you have went a little bit too far. You need to calm down. You're stepping on too many toes. Okay, that's right, you all. Stepping on too many toes. And that's what happens, you all. It is stepping on too many toes. That's all right. It's not all right, but it is all right. It's too late once you step on their toes because they're feeling the pain from it. It is. Oh, I didn't finish the rest. So these are etched in stone, the Anunnaki, the Elohim, the Inky, the Enlils, like the tree of life, and then you got this, and then you've got that. See, isn't that interesting? It is. It's quite interesting. So I'm done. I had a lot of something to say. I didn't think I was going to say all of that, but it's hard. It's hard to get information out. It's hard to get out your findings. It is. And if you are trying to do that yourself, don't give up. Please don't give up. Even though you feel like giving up, don't give up. You don't get no far when you don't get that far in life when you give up, and then you feel defeated. Just keep pressing on. You'll know when it's time for you to stop. You will. I'll know when it's time for me to stop. I will. I'll know when, okay, Gina, it's time. You're done now. Thank you, you all. The truth of the matter is there is something out there. There's other realms. There's other beings. We're not the only race created. We're not. There's angels. There's demons. There's giants of old. There is lots and lots of documentation of the Anunnaki. And one day that those Anunnaki are going to return. And when the rulers of this world, they know it too. They do. And when it happens, they're not going to be too happy because that means their reign is over. Their control on humanity, their grip, the fingers are going to be pried apart. They're going to have to relinquish control. They are. So that's it, you all. I am. Why do we only see one side of the moon? There's more to one side than the side we see. Why do we have to have a one-sided narrative? Because there's two sides. Why do we have to have a one-sided relationship? Them, and we just watch. Why? Why can't there be spaceships in the sky? Why can't there be something other to this, something more to this earth than what meets the eye? Why can't there be? Because there really is. I don't think any of this stuff was make-believe. I don't. None of it. I don't think any of that stuff was make-believe. I think there's a lot that has been kept from us. I know that there are plasma ships. I documented it. Interdimensional plasma ships at the Eiffel Tower on the live web stream, live cam. That is a plasma ship that came from a higher dimension. I know that they're there. You know that they're there. This is the Eiffel Tower. We know that they're there. But there are those who don't want us to know that they're there. There are those that don't want us to let others know that there's more to this life than what we physically see or sense. There's more to it. There's other races of beings than us, and they don't look like us at times. And they're more powerful than we are. They are. Right here, the Eiffel Tower. Right there, the plasma ship. I'm going to go. I've done said too much, you all. So thank you for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, you all. And check your subscription, because YouTube is known to delete your subscription and unsubscribe you, especially to this channel and especially to a lot of other channels. You may find out you're no longer subscribed. You're no longer subscribed. So please hit that subscribe button. Check it. Give this video a thumbs up. This channel and a lot of other channels that are trying to share things, even like this, they don't want us to share it for some reason. And if it's all fun and games, why don't you want us to share it? If there's nothing to it, no harm in sharing something make-believe, is there? None at all. So I'm going to go, and with that being said, thank you so much for being patient. I didn't expect to be this long of a video, but thank you. Thank you, Susan Honey, for being so busy on here. Yeah, you're greatly appreciated. You really are. I wish you didn't have to delete all those comments and stuff. And I know you don't like blocking people. You like to give people a chance. Thank you. I really appreciate it and love you, Susan Honey. So with that being said, hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello, from my heart to yours. Love you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Yeah. Love you, you all.